Sir Owen Disney coming live. Yes, I am live from Cabana Bay Beach Resort. At least I am at the time I'm filming this. It is morning on the day after Halloween Horror Nights Team Member Advanced Screaming Preview. Try to say that 5 times fast. And I want to give you guys and girls out there that don't mind being a bit spoiled with what you're going to be seeing starting tomorrow night in Orlando. I want to let you guys know a little bit of what's coming your way. Now, the day itself was pretty packed. I finally got on Gringotts, and my god, Gringotts is amazing. I can't wait to ride it again. Diagon Alley was everything I wanted and oh so much more, and hopefully you guys and girls out there already watched my Diagon Alley video, which is also up on this channel right now. Now, I will state that this is going to be kind of a chill day for me. I'm going to go over to the studios and I'm going to get some merch before it all runs out, because I have a feeling it probably will before the weekend is over. Not everything, but there's some specific things I really want that I can't get my hands on. And yes, it has pretty much been confirmed by a team member at Universal Studios store that there is going to be another vinyl this year, and the vinyl will be Chucky, and it's going to be the same Uni-Mini pin that exists right now with Chucky on it. And that will be turned into a vinyl, and that will be, hey, my computer's booting up. That will be coming at you guys probably sometime in the middle of October is what I was told. Hopefully that ETA is wrong, because that means that we may get it next week. Fingers crossed, hopefully that does happen. So, I had a great time last night hanging out with my team member friend, and Joe actually was able to join me. It was, like I said, Owen and Joe's most excellent Halloween Horror Nights adventure. Well, I will start real quick and say that I started out at 3:45, as you guys know if you watched the opening video, and I crashed last night after 2 a.m. So I'll tell you what happened. We're going to talk about team member preview real quick. So, out of the park closed, I stood outside in the massive, and I do mean massive, line of people all out the different entrance ways to go through TSA, basically, to go through their metal detectors and empty your pockets and everything. Maybe I won't bring as much on Friday night, because, yeah, that was kind of a pain. But it wasn't as bad as actually as it usually is at the airport, so not that big of a deal. Oh, by the way, my mom got me this really awesome waterproof blue backpack. Tiny, folds in, and it carries my stuff, keeps it nice and dry. So, knock on wood, we haven't had any rain yet, but I know it's in the forecast pretty much every day. But then again, it's Orlando, so obviously that's going to happen. Now, I know what you guys are here to hear about, and that is the actual mazes and the scare zones. Well, I'll explain right now. When we actually got in, we got in around 7:30. And the time is approximate, because actually I ran into Ricardo Rodriguez at in line. He was actually in another line next to me. So Ricardo Rodriguez was at Employee Preview. And my good friends Tim and Jen, along with Kyle, they were all in Employee Preview. I also ran into Ricky Briganti, and I saw Grace for a split second, so that was really nice. So even though I don't get to see these people very often, it was really nice to see them in the park. I did not run into Charles, and I'm guessing we just kind of were on the different sides of the park at the different times. So there were some awesome things that came down out of this. When we got in, the first thing we got into was Masquerade. Masquerade wasn't quite operating yet, so we went straight to Alien vs. Predator, and that was actually our first maze house of the evening, depending on what coast you're on, I guess. Still don't know the preferred nomenclature of maze or house. I'm guessing maze, Hollywood, house, Orlando. Makes sense to me. We went to Alien vs. Predator. It queues up at Twister, but it's not exactly at Twister. It's actually a couple doors down, you know, the yellow windows that you can see people walk through when they're walking through the Twister queue. Yeah, that's where it queues up, and it's like right beside Twister. AVP, well, I'm going to be spoilery a little bit here, but I'm not going to spoil too much. I will state there is several predators in the house. I will state this looks awesome. I will state that the Xenomorph puppets are amazing. And I will state another thing that is not really that spoilery. The crouch is the best usage of the crouch that I have seen personally going through a Halloween Horror Nights house. I'm going to say that. That's all I'm going to say about AVP. So, after AVP, we decide to not continue on the path of hitting everything, since obviously we skipped from Dusk Till Dawn. So, we went over to Giggles and Gore Incorporated. And this, obviously, as you guys know, was one of my most anticipated houses of the year. And it delivered. It's a short house, and it feels somewhat short, but they do a lot with what they have. A lot of odes to Penn and Teller and a lot of interactivity. So yeah, if you like the interactivity in Penn and Teller, you'll like this. A lot of really awesome scares inside this house, and for those of you that don't like clowns, you're not going to have a good time. I'll tell you that right now. There are clowns everywhere. And I like there were nods that I saw to, strangely enough, there are the really weird nods I saw to the Joker. And I'm not talking about Jack, I'm talking about the Joker. And Harley Quinn. So yeah, there are some legitimate, like, really, really attractive clowns characters inside this maze. And I really like the last room. The last room's really cool. It looks awesome, and I really enjoyed this for every way possible. So we went over and we went to Halloween, and just from the moment that you get to Halloween, you can see the Myers house, the facade, it's just crumbling around you. The mapping that was done on the side of the Myers house, just phenomenal in every way possible. Anybody that loves Michael Myers will absolutely love this house. This house, you could not even feel like you're in a sprung tent. This house is, you're like, well, somehow, some way, we have transformed ourselves and transported our way to a soundstage, because this felt like a soundstage maze. I really enjoyed it for everything it was. Michael Myers, literally, I do mean this literally, is everywhere. I'm not going to tell you any more than that. Michael Myers is everywhere. The scares were on point at all times. There were some very naughty trick-or-treaters that you might want to watch out for a bit way through. I'm not going to say where, but they're there. You do see some iconic characters from the film, not just Michael himself. You see Dr. Loomis, obviously, and Laurie Strode is also in there as well. So yes, this house is awesome, and easily, without a doubt, my favorite house so far after just going for one night. So yeah. And like I said, Michael's everywhere, and just keep that in mind. That's all I'm going to say there. So, Halloween took us to Dollhouse of the Damned. And Dollhouse of the Damned is actually something that everybody was tweeting about, with all the hoopla surrounding all the weird Chucky merch that we actually got this year, with the pen and the shirts and the hat, which, if not here, well, there's also another hat coming soon, but I don't know much about that. I know it's coming soon. I will also state that this was a house that, not necessarily high on my list of anticipation, but this house delivers. It is creepy. I said from now on, with La Llorona last year and with Dollhouse of the Damned this year, this is going to be the creepy tent this year. There's a lot of really great misdirection in this house. I love the way things looked. I noticed there is a very, very distinct smell of baby powder. I like that. I think it works really, really well. So yeah, that was really awesome, and I definitely enjoyed it. And a lot of good scares in this house as well. So yeah, Dollhouse is there. And I will state, excuse me, sinuses this morning, sorry. There is an ode to a popular, very popular 80s creation. So a child of the 80s, you will absolutely love this, because you're going to see some things from your childhood. So yeah. I will state right now that the cameo ratio this year is non-existent, but again, that could be added later. Who knows? So Dollhouse of the Damned, excuse me, ended up taking us to basically walking through the Bayou of Blood. And the Bayou of Blood is an awesome, and I do mean awesome, scare zone. There are some very intense things inside this scare zone. I love the light ambiance. It sets a really foreboding tone. I did not get to see the sacrifice last night, which unfortunately I missed, but I'm really curious to see what happens there. This is going to be a really, really scary zone for people to walk through. I will state that even Joe called him Dr. Facilier. He's basically the voodoo master, the Papa Shango of this scare zone is in there. And for those of you that remember, when we talked about Dr. Jimmy's cryptic clues leading us to Angel Heart, actually it was Dr. Jimmy's cryptic clues, but it was a clue that, you remember we also had the Casilda Carcosa clues that were kind of from, it seems like a really massive fan that just had a lot of intel. That clue leading us to Angel Heart, there is, at least I saw last night, there is a character inside the scare zone of Bayou of Blood that actually, honestly, reminds me of Lisa Bonet from Angel Heart. I mean, she had the dreads and everything. I mean, she kind of dressed like that, so that was really cool. I like Bayou of Blood. It was really awesome. We walked through Face Off. Face Off, like everyone thought, is actually just kind of like 7 in 2011. There are stages, there are individual stages for each makeup, and then there is a, excuse me, a similarly dressed character underneath, of course, and that's the one who's scaring you. You're basically trying to take photos. It's like a photo opportunity, basically, just like 7 was. And you're going to get accosted by the people that are on the ground, so the people that are up on the stage. So that was pretty awesome. I enjoyed that. So we went into From Dusk Till Dawn, and I will state right now, if you guys know me very well, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of snakes. Well, I'm not. The facade looks amazing. The Barker is out there, and he's a little bit more pushing that PG-13 envelope. I'm not gonna lie about that. I thought that was pretty cool on their part. This is a very visually awesome house. I really enjoyed this. The scare's not necessarily quite there yet, but like I said, they're getting their sea legs. And I'll probably use that term a lot in this video. I really like what they did with the finale. I'm going to state that. The snake stuff obviously was kept to a minimum, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. And like I said, a lot of okay scares in this house. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I mean, not my favorite of the year for sure. Roanoke Cannibal Colony was another of the mazes I got to go through last night, and you know, something just wasn't there. It looks cool. I like the facade. The facade works really well. It's just like you're walking into an empty warehouse, and then all of a sudden you walk in, and it's like, bam, Roanoke just staring at you, and of course you have cannibals everywhere. I will state the finale here is something that I did predict, so if you remember my videos saying what I thought the finale would be, that's exactly what happens, but I'm not going to say anything more than that. The smell of burning fire, I thought that was really cool and very adding to the whole overall presentation. Now, my throat is killing me tonight. So, we ended up going to The Walking Dead, into the line. It's long, it's involved, and it takes you all the way through the season. Now, obviously, you know I'm not a Walking Dead fan. I think this is actually going to hurt this house in my mind, because it was cool. There's a really awesome scare inside the big spot, which I'm not giving away exactly what it is, but it's there and it's awesome. I really enjoy it. But I will state right now that I really wasn't very receptive of this house, because like I said, I didn't know what I was going into. This was basically like me going into something that I completely had no idea what was going on. In essence, it would be like if, this will never happen in a million years, but like, hey, we're going to create a football maze or something like that. I don't know why they would, but like a dead, like zombie football players maze or something like that, and it'd have to be congruent with the season of the New York Jets. Okay, that's the first team that came to mind. I don't know why I just did. So like a New York Jets football zombie maze, and Owen would be like, what's going on? It's like, you're the great plays, but they're zombie plays, and no one would know what's going on. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I still think it makes sense if you're picking up what I'm putting down here. Basically what I'm saying is, if you're a fan, you're going to absolutely adore this maze. I really enjoyed the walkthrough. Was cool. I like the finale. The finale is really great, and we go all the way through the season, and we do end at Terminus, so yeah, that was really cool. I'm not a fan, but then again, I'm not a fan of the show or know anything about the show, so yeah, I will state that right off the top. We went to Dracula Untold. A lot of raves coming out of Hollywood, their employee preview. This was, I think the word I used on Twitter was uneven. It seems very off. Like something something was kind of missing. I didn't know exactly what it was. Something was just kind of not there. But, like I said, they're going to have to get their sea legs. I will talk real quick about Masquerade. As the night progressed, Masquerade got really awesome. I love the Victorian costumes. I love the characters on stilts. I like that. That worked really well. I love the giant candles with all the faces inside the wick. I thought that was awesome. But I will state right now, without a doubt, without any question, there is no way I'm not saying that the best scare zone this year is The Purge. And my God, there are things, and I do mean things, everywhere. There are purgers trying to get you. There are people from the first movie, people from the second movie. We have a Barker basically just spotting out people and telling them to attack and feed, and not really feed like the zombie, but like go after and like cleanse yourself. I mean, there is fire everywhere. Did not get to see the auction. I really wanted to, but did not get a chance to see it. I thought it was really cool, though. Really, really love The Purge, and I very much am going to spend a little bit of time in there. It's a long scare zone, too. I really enjoyed it. There are characters everywhere. There is an opening ceremony, at least there was last night, but I did not get a chance to see it because I was outside of the arch waiting to get in. I know a lot of people were because it was very congested trying to get in. Now, queue line situations this year are really strange. The strangest one of all for me is From Dusk Till Dawn, because when you go back, like, From Dusk Till Dawn is basically where Cabin was set up, right outside of Minion Mayhem, like, you know, the way that most people use to get in and out of Universal who don't want to go through the actual front gate, which is the way I go to Universal most of the time. They'll let you Blue Man Group go through past the Hard Rock, and you're out that way. It's like when you're walking past the Rocket. I will state right now that the queue is very strange. I liken it to the fact that we actually have to walk through what looks like construction. In essence, it's I feel like I'm in Vegas, actually. You know, when I went to Vegas back in like '93, when there were construction walls and they were trying to build I think it was New York at the time. You know, you're really claustrophobic and you're walking through and there's fences and there's like black tarps around you, like for construction purposes. We have to walk through one of those to get through From Dusk Till Dawn. I'll state right now that The Walking Dead, excuse me, Music Plaza, where Resident Evil was last year, it's really weird queue situation because they have the guardrails, the switchbacks, but they're not as prevalent as they were last year, and there's entry and exit for different places at the same time, and it's very off. It feels very off. I will state that it was really crowded last night. I don't know how crowded it's going to be on opening night, but I will state that there were no rides running, so basically the only thing you could do is go through the mazes, go through the scare zones, or hit the shows. Unfortunately, I did not make it to the shows. Rocky Horror was probably never going to happen because the people I was going with and not really wanting to go through it. I will definitely hit it this weekend for sure. And I did not see Bill and Ted. That's the one thing that I really regret. If I knew then what I know now, and I feel like that's redundant, but if I knew then what I know now, I would have totally skipped Dracula and Roanoke. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people may like those houses, but I just didn't. I would have skipped Dracula and Roanoke and did Bill and Ted instead. I would have planned my time out better. But then again, I was just happy and fortunate to be enough to be going. So yeah, hopefully this happens again next year. So fingers crossed I get back in team member preview next year somehow, some way. So that was my opinion on the opening night and for the preview night. So I'm really curious to see what happens this weekend. I know that I'm meeting up with Orlando United at 7:30, Duff Gardens, you know, the Stees everybody's talking about. That's going to be really cool. We're going to go around and hit all the mazes. Should be pretty fun. See Bill and Ted, I'm really excited about doing that. Excuse me. Definitely running into the Horror Night Updaters. They're going to be out and about. Some of them will. I mean, I will be running into Psycho Massacre Films. I cannot wait to go through Halloween with Psycho Massacre Films. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Looking forward to that. And definitely going to run into my friend Matt H. in Trogdor, so check that out. So hopefully that'll happen. And there's a lot of other people I need to meet up with. And if you're watching this video and you want to meet up, you know how to get a hold of me. Obviously, you can email me, sirowendisney@gmail.com, tweet me at @sirowendisney, or you can Facebook me, friend request at Owen Disney. So hopefully I wasn't too spoilery. I tried not to as much as I could. I have some pictures, but not very many. I mean, the lighting was, it was dark, so obviously it was hard to get pictures of everything, but I did what I could. So I will state that this is going to be an awesome year, and if you use this night as any indication of what we're going to get starting tomorrow, we're going to have some fun at Horror Nights this year. And like I said, kudos to Mike Aiello and the entire A&D team in Orlando for creating such an awesome event. The gore is up this year. The scare factor is up this year. And it seems like everything is running on full cylinders already, and we haven't even opened the legitimate gates yet. So that's what we've got right now. And, excuse me, my plans for the day, Diagon, go back to Gringotts, Hogwarts Express, need to finally do that, and do some stuff at IOA, buy some merch, because I don't want it to run out before I get a chance to, and tonight I'm actually going to be watching Tusk at AMC, so AMC, I will be watching Tusk tonight, so 8 o'clock is what it looks like, so if any of you updaters would like to join me, then let me know, and I will accommodate you. So that's taken care of, and I am very happy to see what happens come tomorrow night. So, thank you guys and girls out there for watching, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I gotta say about that.